Hello, how's it going? My name is Stephanie Bogart and welcome to my channel. So today I am going to tell you guys my testimony. I've only told my testimony to maybe like 2 groups of people, I think. I don't even think I've told like the rest of my family my testimony. But I just wanted to go ahead and put this out here for everybody. And if you have any questions, just leave them down below. So I have it written here actually, because for the first time I told it, I had to actually write it out. So basically I was born here in Dallas, and I grew up going to Episcopal church until I was about 6 or 7. My parents left the church because of some stuff that went on, and then not like stuff you hear about on the news, just inner church stuff. They basically didn't receive the support they needed for something they were going through. Hey, get out of there! It's my dog. Then when I was 15, I was invited to another church, also Episcopal, with my friend Maverick Lay. I'm so sorry about his nails. Lay. Good boy. Okay. So I went to church with her, and while the church part was boring, the pastor speaking part, we went to Sunday school too, and that was really fun. And I really liked Sunday school, and I really liked the kids in there. And we would do all these fun activities. We would play volleyball, not me, because I'm not good at it. It's painful. And we would go on mission trips. We went to Padre Island. It was just a lot of fun. And then there was a problem with one of the priests. I hate this because I don't want people to be like, oh, that's why I don't go to church. I mean, technically that is why I didn't go to church anymore because the youth group broke up. So, and then they didn't have another youth group for a while because of this scandal. So, anyway, I stopped going to church, and I was super rebellious in my teenage years. I was so rebellious that my parents didn't even know that I was that rebellious. They do now. But I was promiscuous. I just, whatever a guy wanted from me, I gave it to him because I thought it would lead to love, which it didn't. And my parents didn't teach me that or anything. They taught me, love in the correct way. I was just being rebellious. So, basically when I was 19, I became a mom. And having her kind of just put me on a totally different path. I was like, okay, this other stuff I've been doing is stupid. I have a child now, and I want to be her mother. So I kind of just like dropped all that nonsense. I still went out to the club or whatever, which was fine. All I did was dance. Like, I barely drank most of the time. And so it was just to like get away, because my parents were still like, you're still a young person. It's, we're not going to hold you back from still having a life outside of being a mom, which was good. And I didn't go out like all the time. So then I actually married that baby's dad, but it just didn't last. Only like 8 months or something. And then we were separated and then divorced. And then I met my next husband, who I was with for 8 years. We had 2 daughters together. One of them passed away while I was still pregnant. That's a whole nother story, which I have a video on. It's called My Abortion Story. It is lightning and thunder, you guys. My abortion story was very awful. It was just, I didn't want to have an abortion. It was like she was, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it is loud. Anyway, she was not formed correctly. I had the abortion. I would not have done it now looking back, but basically having that abortion, led me into a massive depression, for which I began seeking like spiritual help, I guess is what you would call it. I totally believed in God. I've always believed in God for as long as I can remember, since I was a little girl. However, I knew of Jesus. He was just this dude in the Bible, and like, yeah, we celebrate Easter because of Jesus, and his birthday is Christmas or whatever, you know. That's really all, like, as far as it went with him. I had tried to read the Bible several times in my life, starting with Genesis. I'd get a few pages in and I'd be like, I can't do this, it's so boring. I turned to like tarot card reading and contacting the dead and spirits and stuff, and it wasn't scary to me. It was like fascinating, you know. And I would get all these signs everywhere, and I would get I could actually hear spirit, seen them out of the corner of my eye a couple times, and then what else? Seeing, hearing, there's like different ones. Feeling, my big one was feeling. I could always feel spirit. So I began kind of like really getting into tarot cards and trying to like go to different psychics to find out more about my daughter. The one that passed away, you know, they would tell me things and I would feel better and stuff. And even I had some psychic stuff that I was able to do. So then I started doing that for other people. My husband did not like it. He didn't want any part of it. But so that's kind of how I got led into this spiritual world, new agey stuff. But I remember when I had my abortion, I was so depressed and so devastated. I wanted that baby so bad. Like I said, she was a girl, and we named her Charlize. I remember being curled up in a ball because I had seen something violent on TV, and it just like brought back all the memories of the baby being taken from myself. And because you kind of, at least I do, I have like memories, and I could feel certain things going on down there when they were getting her out. And I ended up curled in a little ball on the bed and just crying out to God. I wanted to like die, but not be dead. I wanted to just leave my body for a little while so I wouldn't have to feel this gut-wrenching pain. But I didn't want to like commit suicide or something because I had my kids and my husband. I didn't want to leave them, my parents, you know, everybody. I ended up going to therapy. And then my husband did not. He went once, but he decided it wasn't for him. I began to heal with a lot of prayer and therapy. He kind of just turned his life towards gaming. So we tried for another, I want to say, a year and a half to make it work. I was getting better, he wasn't. He was not involved in the family at all. His life was gaming. He ate there. He didn't do anything in the household. He didn't contribute, nothing. At the time, I didn't realize how much pain he was in because he wouldn't tell me. He wouldn't tell anyone how much pain he was in. He told me on the last day we were together that he was in so much pain. But by then it was too late. Yeah, so after we got divorced, I was like, I am not getting serious with anybody anymore. I'm just gonna have fun, whatever, which I did. I had a little bit of fun, nothing too crazy. And then I actually met my current husband online. So back then it was like a month after I broke up with, like, I moved out from my ex-husband. A month or a month and a half. I was on Yahoo Personals, not to find a man, but to find a pen pal, because they had a lot of military guys and girls on Yahoo Personals. For some reason, that's where they were all located, or not all of them. They had a lot there. So my profile said that. It didn't say anything about dating. So then this guy pops up on there and he's like, oh, I like your profile, I like what you're doing, that's really cool. And I was like, yeah, thanks. And we just ended up talking. And then, well, we're married now. So that's another story for another day. My husband is a Christian. He grew up going to Catholic church. He did not like it. He did not like the ritualism in it. He didn't want to have to do all that stuff you have to do when you're a kid. He refused to do it, actually. He gave his life to Christ at age 13, but then kind of kept living as a teenager does, not really knowing what that meant. So when I met him, he was kind of still a little rebellious when it came to being a Christian. He knew what he was supposed to be doing, but he just wasn't doing it. We have a baby. We get married, and then about 2009, I'd say, we kind of decided we wanted to find a church to go to. Because we're getting older and you kind of mature and you're like, something's missing, from life. And so we were both like, yeah, I want to find a church. You? Yeah. So we kind of church hopped for a while. We weren't finding anything. We were going to Baptist, and then we were going to non-denominational churches. There was one around our area that was really popular and lots of people go there, and so we went, but we just didn't like the way we felt there. I didn't like the message that we saw that day, so we just kept looking. So we ended up at this other church who people just kept recommending it. We kept hearing about it, so finally we went, and we never left, right? So we first started going there on Christmas Eve of 2010. So we've been there ever since. I was more of a creaster, like a Christmas Easter type. My husband was getting more out of it at the time. He was going a lot more often than I was. I didn't have any desire to go all the time. Why do we need to go all the time? That was me. In, what was it? November of 2013, I decided that I wanted to pray every day for a year. So I did. I actually did it. I prayed every day for a year. When I first started, I was like, I'm just going to say my prayers, dear God, And then as it wore on, it just became this all day conversation with God. I was constantly praying, constantly checking in with God. And it, like I said, it was just more like a conversation by that point. And during that time, it was June of 2014, I got what we 99% think is listeria. By the time it was I was able to be tested for it, it was too late. But that was when the whole thing happened with Bluebell, when they had recalled all their ice cream because of listeria. Well, I had Bluebell a few days before I got sick. And a lot before that, so because Bluebell was a staple, in our house. And so I ended up getting very, very sick. It was the same exact time my oldest daughter was graduating from high school. She was going to be moving away. It was just it was too much. And I prayed all the way through it. I ended up being sick from June until October with that stuff. It was awful. It's like this, I can't even describe what it felt like, but I just was constantly I couldn't go anywhere, or if I did, I had to be ready to run to the bathroom. Anyways, it's also another story for another time. I started a job in October. I was starting to feel better, and then once I got better, I had started attending church more often. Also, while I was sick, my family would go off to church, and then I would watch because they would live stream. So I was seeing the messages, but I was sick. So I would go when I could, but it was just you never knew with this illness if I was going to be able to go or not. So after I started working and started feeling a lot better, I went to church more often, started going every Sunday. And then one Sunday, it was December 14th, 2014. Our secondary pastor gave a message, and he just said something, God spoke through him, and just something like clicked. Like everything I had been wondering just kind of came together like a puzzle, or like two pieces clicking together. And I was just pondering on his message from probably the time we left church that day until the next day. I was like, I get it. You know, I just kept saying like, I get it. And then I declared publicly on my Facebook, not the one I have now, it's like an old one I had, that I love church, I love God, everything. I didn't put Jesus in there because I didn't understand that that's what it was. But I was like, it's just the best feeling. Like, I can't explain to you guys, except for that it's like when a mother has a baby and she sees the baby for the first time. And it's like that enormous love is just, like I said, it's enormous. It's amazing. Yeah, it's great. So technically I was saved on December 15th, 2014. And I talked to my husband about it. I was like, I'm feeling all this wonderful stuff because of the message yesterday. And ever since that message, like, I get it now. I understand about Jesus and everything. Because he had been preaching about Jesus. And he goes, did you say the prayer? And I was like, what prayer? And he's like, there's this one in the Bible, you can say it. And I was like, okay. So I said it. And like, I fully accepted Christ that day. And it was just great. Like, it was just perfect. I don't think there's anything perfect in your life except for that moment when you accept Christ. And ever since then, I've been living my life for him. He has personally moved me to start talking about a life with Jesus on my channel. I'm sure some of y'all who have been around for a long time have noticed that I do Faith Fridays now. And I feel like that's really important. Like, that's what he is calling me to do. And so I just want to let you guys know that if you have any questions about Christianity, about Jesus, about God, about what's life like now, I would love to answer those questions in the comments, or actually I'll just make a whole nother video for that. So please leave me your questions or comments, whatever you want, and hopefully by next Friday I'll have enough questions to make a Q&A video. So thank you so much for watching. I know this is long. There's actually a whole lot more to the story. It's several pages long. I've had a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of illnesses. One thing I do want to say is after I accepted Christ, Jesus, into my life, I am no longer able to communicate with ghosts or spirits, or I haven't had any psychic stuff happen. I get feelings, which are like gut feelings, and those are always right. But as far as that other spiritual stuff goes, it's just gone. I can't do it anymore. And I'm not upset about it because that means it wasn't from God. That means it was from Satan. And I hate saying that. But it's just, you know, I told God that if it's from him, then he can give me the ability to do it, because there are people in this world, from what I understand, who are still prophets and are believers. So I just told him, hey, if that's a spiritual gift I have, then I will take it. But if it's not from you, I don't want it. I don't want anything that's not from God. So anyway, but yeah, if y'all have any more questions, just leave them in the comments, and I will see y'all next time. Love y'all. Bye.